Hello guys, this is Nat Blue with a new YouTube video. Today we are going to be ranking the MCU projects. So this is movies and TV shows. I have the standard S through F tiers, and then I have a tier for haven't seen. This is any project I just haven't gotten to yet. As a warning, there might be some minor spoilers in this video. I will try not to get too in-depth into anything. But we are just going to get this kicked off. So we are going to start this with Ant-Man 1. I'm going to put the first Ant-Man in A tier. I love this movie. I think Paul Rudd did an amazing job. The supporting cast is really good. There's not really a lot of bad things I can say about this. I really like the Yellow Jacket as a villain. Next is Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I'm going to put in B. Mostly because I didn't like Ghost as much as I liked Yellow Jacket. It was nice to see the Wasp in this. The end credit scene was great. I just wasn't a huge fan of Ghost. Next is Ant-Man Quantumania, which is the newest of the Ant-Man movies. I'm going to put this one in C. I liked Ant-Man, I liked Wasp, I liked Hank Pym and his wife, and I really enjoyed Jonathan Majors as Kang the Conqueror. But I feel like there's a lot of parts of this movie I just didn't like. I feel like the pacing was a little weird. Some of the side characters just seemed unnecessary. And there were some parts of the movie where I felt like it should have been a little bit more serious with the situation that they were in. Overall, I think it's the weakest of the Ant-Man movies. The next movie on this list is Avengers. We are going to put Avengers in A tier. I love how good of a movie this was for starting the team. Loki was an amazing villain. It was great to see the team interact with each other for the first time. The moments between Tony Stark and Bruce Banner were great, where Tony was kind of trying to agitate the Hulk a little bit. Seeing Thor's entrance with Captain America was really cool. In that scene in the woods. Overall, just a very good movie. I liked how it was hinted that Hawkeye was on the team because he was just a very good agent for S.H.I.E.L.D. Might not even have been hinted. It's been a long time, but I love Hawkeye. And I think this movie was a good intro for him to the team also. Next is Avengers Age of Ultron. We are going to put this one in B tier. No, we're going to put this one in C tier. Once again, I loved the team dynamic. It was nice to see Scarlet Witch get introduced. It was cool to see Quicksilver be introduced, even if it wasn't a permanent introduction to the MCU. I don't like the weird backstory they did with the two of them, but that's okay. I understand they couldn't really use the X-Men or anything. I was disappointed in Ultron. He could have been a bigger bad than he was. I did like seeing Vision's introduction. It was cool to see him pick up the hammer, but I think Ultron was a little lackluster. Next on this list is Avengers Infinity War. We are going to put Infinity War in A. I loved Infinity War. Thanos was such a good villain. I really liked the Black Order. Spider-Man really got a chance to shine in this. Doctor Strange got a chance to shine in this. The ending was incredible. With an unpopular opinion, I do like Avengers Endgame more. We are going to put Avengers Endgame in S. I think it was cool to see the remaining superheroes fighting to get everybody back. The time travel thing was really cool to me. It was nice to see. This is a very unpopular opinion. I kind of liked Professor Hulk. It kind of just made sense with Bruce Banner's character to find a way to not lose his intelligence when he was the Incredible Hulk. I really liked seeing Thor's decline after Infinity War, how he was coping with it. It was cool to see the Valkyrie in it more of a leadership role. This was just overall an incredible movie. That ending fight was spectacular. It was such a good movie to me. I understand people had their issues with it, but I think all around this was just a very good movie. Next is Black Panther. I am going to put Black Panther in B. I loved Killmonger as a villain. He did a very good job. Chadwick Boseman does an amazing job as T'Challa. I liked seeing the heart-shaped orb thing where he has to fight M'Baku. Overall, it was a very good movie. I can't put it higher than B because I could not get over how bad the CGI was in a few scenes. But overall, I loved it as an introduction to Wakanda. I think it was just a very solid movie all around. Next is Wakanda Forever. I'm going to put this one in C tier. So I did actually really like Shuri as Black Panther, and I loved Namor being introduced in this movie. I do really wish that Namor had a chance to meet T'Challa because they really don't get along very well in the comic books. But that's not the MCU's fault. For obvious reasons, they could not use T'Challa in this. Overall, it was a good movie. I just think that the first Black Panther was a better movie. Next is Black Widow. I'm going to put Black Widow in D tier. I liked the Red Guardian. I thought that was cool. I liked the Red Room. Taskmaster was okay. And honestly, I think it's just kind of a forgettable movie. I'm upset that this is how they did the whole solo movie. I think there was so much promise there. But it just wasn't as good of a movie as I was hoping for it to be. Next, we're going to change this up a little bit because I don't like the order that it's in. The first Captain America movie, I am going to put in B. I liked seeing Steve become Captain America. The pacing was very slow at the beginning, which is okay, but I was a little bit bored of the movie at the start. Red Skull is a very good villain. I think it was a solid movie to start out his trilogy. Next is Captain America Winter Soldier. This isn't going to be a surprise to anybody. This is an S tier movie. This is maybe the best fighting in the MCU. The cinematography is amazing. That knife scene with Winter Soldier and Captain America is really good. The Winter Soldier as a character is just incredible. I love Sebastian Stan's portrayal of him. Honestly, the best Captain America movie, in my opinion. The next one is Civil War. We're going to put Civil War in A tier. So, this introed Spider-Man into the MCU, which was huge for me because I'm a big Spider-Man fan. And I think Tom Holland does an amazing job with the character. I really liked the moments between Tony, Cap, and Bucky. Overall, I think there were a few moments in this that were a little disappointing. I feel like some of the fights were a smaller scale than I would have liked. I did like the airport fight, but mostly just because it got to showcase Spider-Man. I think everybody else was just kind of going through the motions for part of the fight. But overall, it is a very good movie, very good acting in a lot of parts of the movie. I just think it could have been better. The next movie on this list is Captain Marvel. I'm going to put this at C, below Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Honestly, I think C tier is pretty organized right now the correct way. Another unpopular opinion, liked Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. A lot of people said her acting was a little emotionless in this movie. I think that was kind of the point of the movie. She was being trained to not show emotion. My biggest issue is I think the villains in this movie were forgettable. I think the villains could have been a lot better than what they were. Which brings us to The Marvels, which I'm skipping all the way down here because I just want to keep these movies together. This is going to go above Captain Marvel, but it's still going to be C. I liked this movie. I really liked seeing Monica Rambeau in it. I think she did an amazing job. That actress is amazing. I liked seeing Miss Marvel in it. I really like that actress. She does a good job with the character. Brie Larson, I think, did pretty well as like a Captain Marvel that's starting to recognize the consequences of some of her prior actions. This has a similar problem that I have to Captain Marvel, but maybe exaggerated. I really did not like the villain of this movie. I did not care about her. She was incredibly forgettable. I cannot remember her name. Overall, I think that was the most disappointing part of the movie. It's just the villain was not good. Next movie on this list, Doctor Strange. We are going to put Doctor Strange in B. I think it was a good origin movie. It has, once again, the same issue as most of the origin movies in the MCU. The villain is just a copy of Doctor Strange, to be completely fair. I really liked Wong in this movie. He's just incredible as the character. Benedict Cumberbatch is really good as Doctor Strange. I liked the training montage of him becoming a sorcerer. The sling ring is really cool. I think they did a very good job with this. I think it's really good for a origin film. I just think it could have been better, honestly. We'll put it above Captain America, but I think it still could have been better. I really don't like that the ending of the movie didn't really have a payoff later on. I wish they would have done something with that. Next is Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Despite popular opinion, I am putting this in A. I really liked Multiverse of Madness. I think it was really good. I loved seeing Scarlet Witch as a villain. I thought that was really cool. All of the characters were great. America Chavez was good in the movie. I'm not a huge fan of her comic book character, but she did a good job in the movie. Overall, pretty solid movie. I think it was a good movie for like kind of a horror movie. So I think they did a great job with it. I really liked seeing the Illuminati in that one scene, even if it did not end well for them. I think that was really cool. Next on the list is Echo. This is a very recent series. I want to put Echo in F, but we're going to put it in D. Now I'm going to explain. I don't like the character very much, but there were two big things about this show that I cannot put it into F tier because of. One, Vincent D'Onofrio is an amazing Kingpin. It was really cool to see him back as like a full-fledged character. I know he was in Hawkeye a little bit, but it was really cool to see him as more of a main character in Echo. Second thing, the Daredevil fight was really cool. I'll admit, the Daredevil fight was great. Next movie on this list is Eternals. This is going into F. And I didn't hate this movie as much as most people did. I thought there was some cool parts of the movie. The villain was forgettable again. I mean, the villain was technically, the Celestials, but that's different. I mean, like the weird looking guy. I don't remember his name. I did like the individual Eternals, but overall, I think the entire movie was kind of forgettable, and it's not something that I would rewatch. So I'm going to put it in F. Most of these other movies, I would at least rewatch the movie. Next on the list, Falcon and Winter Soldier, the TV show. I think this is an S tier TV show. I loved seeing Falcon becoming Captain America, even if he didn't want to. I know that he kind of didn't want to take that title on. I really liked seeing Bucky as a civilian and then helping fight alongside Falcon. I thought that was really cool. I think they did a really good job with Baron Zemo in this show. It was cool to see the Wakandans in this show. I think overall, just very good TV show. I was incredibly impressed. The villain was great. I loved seeing US Agent in the MCU. So overall, great show, S-class for me. Next is Guardians 1. So I'm going to put the first Guardians of the Galaxy in... I'll put it in A. I liked the movie. I liked the dance-off at the end. It was a really fun movie. I think it wasn't as good as the other Guardians for me. It was really good, but I think the other Guardians were at least as good, if not better. Which brings us to Guardians 2. I'm going to put Guardians 2 in A, but I'm putting Guardians 2 above these other movies. I really hope that is the thumbnail for Guardians 2, but we're putting it in high A because I really liked the emotion in this movie, the Yondu scene. Overall, very good movie. I liked the setup it did for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I liked the backstory it did with Peter. Ego was solid. I don't think he was the best villain, but he was still really good. I think it is better than the other A tier movies. So overall, A tier. Going on to Guardians 3, I'm going to put this in S. I loved Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I liked to see that Peter Quill thing after Gamora doesn't remember him. I loved seeing Groot did an amazing job in this. Drax did an amazing job in this. The prison thing was really cool. I liked the fight with Adam Warlock. I really liked Adam Warlock. I think they did a good job with him. I was a little bit worried because I liked the character in the comics, and I was worried about how they were going to handle it. I think they did a good job with doing like a newborn Adam Warlock. This had a lot of emotion in it. I love how much focus they put on Rocket, because I feel like he was a little bit of a side character in the first two. Overall, just incredible movie. Next on this list is the Hawkeye TV show. This is also S tier for me. I feel like I'm putting too much in S, but this was so good. I loved seeing Kate Bishop. It was really cool that they made Clint deaf, or at least partially deaf, mostly deaf, because he is in the comics, and I feel like it's something they haven't done in any of the movies yet. I liked the in-universe explanation for him going deaf. I really liked seeing the dog in this. I loved that Kingpin was in this TV show. I loved that this is a lot about the consequences of his actions as Ronin. I think it was a very good show. Next is I Am Groot and another Groot show. We're putting both of these. I haven't seen either one of these. Next one, Iron Man 1. I'll put in A. No, we're going to put it in B with these other intro movies. It was cool to see him build the Iron Man suit. This was most people's introduction to the MCU. I have the same issue with this as I have the other ones. It is just him fighting another guy in a mech suit. The villain is just an Iron Man copy, which I understand, but I feel like it's just overdone in these movies. And it kind of started with Iron Man. I get that. Or technically started with Hulk, but I get that. I really don't like that trope. It was really cool. The I am Iron Man moment at the end of the movie was really, really awesome. Next is Iron Man 2. I'm putting this at C. I didn't like the villain for Iron Man 2 with the chains or whatever. But it was cool to have War Machine more front and center. Next is Iron Man 3. Oddly enough, I have not seen Iron Man 3. I've heard bad things about it. When I heard bad things about it, I didn't watch it back then. And then I just haven't gotten back around to it yet. Eventually, I'll watch Iron Man 3. It looks really good. I just have not watched it. I do want to see the Extremist program. I know it's in there, but I just haven't watched it yet. Next up on the list is Loki Season 1. I'm putting this in high A. Yeah, right below. No, you know what? Above Guardians 2. I loved it. I loved seeing Loki as like a guy who's been trying to make his own way in the world, realizing that it is just scripted events. I love seeing Who Remains. Sylvie is a really great character. Mobius is really great. Overall, just an amazing show. I loved Miss Minutes in this. The ending is incredible. The twist at the end is really good. The next one on the list, Loki Season 2. This is an S tier show. This might be the best Marvel TV show. We're not going to put any of the S tier in a specific order, but this might be the best Marvel TV show. I loved Loki flexing his magic more in this season. Doing all of the illusions, and that shadow scene is so cool. Them meeting Victor Timely was really cool. Miss Minutes being a little bit different this season was really awesome. I really enjoyed the ending of Loki Season 2. I'm not going to get specific on it, but even the outfit is just so cool. So I loved this season. Like I said, might be the best Marvel show. Speaking of really good Marvel shows, I'm overdoing S tier, but I'm putting Moon Knight there. Moon Knight was so good. The relationship between him and Khonshu was amazing. I loved the suits in this. The Mr. Knight suit is one of my favorite MCU costumes, and I so desperately want to buy it. I was looking at costumes online recently, and I'm like, gosh, that looks amazing. I really want that Mr. Knight costume. I loved the supporting cast in this. The villain was incredible. The fight scene at the end between Khonshu and the big alligator was really cool. I don't remember the name. The multiple personalities coming out in Moon Knight was great. The ending where it hints at that third personality was really awesome. Overall, just don't have enough nice things to say about this show, and I really hope they have a season 2 soon, because I'm a huge fan of Moon Knight. The next show on this list, Miss Marvel. I am going to put this in B. I liked Miss Marvel. I did. The actress did an amazing job. The villains were okay. The red scarf thing was okay. I think that's what they're called. I think it's just a good show. It's not an amazing show. Next on this list, Secret Invasion. I am putting a D with Echo. this show had so much promise and it started out really well. And then I think it just kind of died down a lot near the end. And then I kind of didn't like the Super Squall ending. Because I feel like they should have just saved the Super Squall for after the Fantastic Four was introduced. I don't like how they did that. I did like the twist with Nick Fury at the end before the Super Squall thing, but overall, I think they could have just saved it for Fantastic Four since we know that that's coming in the future. Next on this list, Shang-Chi. I'll put Shang-Chi at A. I liked it. I think the actor for Shang-Chi did an amazing job. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head right now. The villain was solid. It was really cool to see the dragon. I really liked the chick in this movie. I don't remember her name either. The one who was traveling with Shang-Chi. The little four-ball that was traveling with them was really cool. I'm so bad with names, guys. I'm so sorry. I promise I liked this movie. I am excited to see what they do with Shang-Chi in the future because I feel like he could go pretty far, but they haven't really brought him back. So I'm excited for that. Next is She-Hulk. I'm going to put She-Hulk at A, which is certainly a controversial opinion, but hear me out. She-Hulk is a satirical character in the comic books. They did a very good job of that in this TV show. I love that they had her break the fourth wall multiple times because she also does that in the comics. Seeing the lawyer part of it was really cool. Even though some of the scenes seem like they might have been written by people that haven't been in a courtroom, but that's okay. I loved seeing Daredevil in this. I did like seeing the yellow and red suit, even though I'm not a huge fan of it. It's just a really cool comic book callback. And from what we've seen of the Daredevil Born Again show, it's not going to be his standard costume. He's not going to continue wearing that all the time. So I don't think it's a big deal. But I did really like She-Hulk. I loved the fourth wall breaking. I liked Mark Ruffalo in this. I think he was really cool. I think it's gotten a lot of unnecessary hate. And I think some of that is from people that have not read any of the She-Hulk comics or know much about the character. Because I think they stayed pretty truthful to the character. Next one on this list, we are going to do Spider-Man Homecoming. I think Homecoming, in the scheme of the MCU, is a B-tier movie. I wasn't a huge fan of Vulture. I think it was a good intro to the character. It didn't have the intro movie thing of having a copied villain, which was nice. Vulture was not a copy. I do wish there was a little bit less Iron Man in it. And I understand it was a good way to tie him to the universe. And I understand the point of the movie was for him to rely less on Iron Man by the end of the movie. But overall, I think it's a great intro. I think Vulture was good. It's just not my favorite villain. Next would be Spider-Man Far From Home, which I think is A in the scheme of things. So Far From Home was really good. I loved Jake Gyllenhaal as Mysterio. He did an amazing job. Even though it was kind of still tying back to Iron Man a little bit, he obviously wasn't in the movie much because, Endgame happened. But really good movie. I liked the MJ storyline where she figures it out near the end of the movie. I think overall, just great movie. We are going to move my camera real quick. There we go. So overall, really good movie. Next one, Spider-Man No Way Home, is an S-tier movie. The villains are really good. I loved seeing villains from the old Spider-Man movies come back. I really enjoyed the dynamic with Doctor Strange. I think there's some really good costumes in this movie. That reveal of the suit at the end of the movie is incredible, where it draws a little bit of inspiration from the other Spider-Man. The nostalgia of this movie is great. I think that the other two Spider-Man actors, this might be the best portrayal of Spider-Man for both of them. I liked seeing Tobey as a more seasoned Peter Parker. I liked seeing Andrew as a more broken Peter Parker, if that makes sense. After the events of the last Spider-Man movie he did, it's very understandable. And I liked them being like mentor figures to Peter 1 in this movie. Next is Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. I think this is B. So I loved this movie. I loved the Kevin Bacon thing. Movie. It's like a TV special. I think it was really well done. It was really good for a Christmas thing. I'm just not a huge holiday guy, honestly. That's all it is. Next is Edward Norton's Incredible Hulk. I'll put this in C. I liked Abomination in this. Edward Norton did a fine job. I don't think it's as great as a movie as some people say it is, but it was a very good Hulk movie. I do wish they could do a Hulk movie with a more seasoned Hulk, but there's some stuff with Universal Studios that makes that difficult to do. But I think it was a great movie. It just wasn't as good as most of the MCU movies I've put above it. Next on the list, the fourth Thor movie. We are going to put the fourth Thor in... we're going to put it in D tier. So... I get this movie. He goes to Earth. He doesn't have his powers anymore. He's trying to cope with that. He doesn't have the hammer. It was boring to me. I got very bored in this movie. I think it could have been a lot more fun. Loki was cool in the movie. Odin did a good job. Heimdall does a great job. I'm not a huge Jane Foster guy. Overall, I just didn't like Thor. Which brings us to The Dark World, which is an F tier movie. Nothing's good about Thor: The Dark World. I hate to be that guy. I really don't like this movie. The Dark Elves are awful. I'm not a huge fan of Malekith. This is also kind of boring. I feel like this movie could have done so much. I think the Dark Elves in the comics are a better story, but I don't like what they did with this. Next on the list, Thor Ragnarok. This is a big tonal shift, but I'm going to put Thor Ragnarok in A. This, to me, is the best Thor movie. So, I love seeing Hela. I really liked Thor with the swords. I was a big fan of the Gladiator stuff. I really liked seeing his dynamic with the Hulk. It was cool to see Loki fighting alongside him for the movie. It was cool to see Surtur, I think is how you pronounce his name, the guy who brings Ragnarok. Overall, just an incredible movie. I liked the eye patch thing that kind of nods to Odin a little bit. Just a very good movie. I was a huge fan of Ragnarok. Next is Thor: Love and Thunder, which I am going to put in B. Let's not do high B, but we'll put it in B. I loved Gore the God Killer. I think Christian Bale did a very good job with the character. I liked Thor with his axe. I didn't like the dynamic with the whole Mjolnir is jealous or Thor is jealous of Mjolnir. I'm not a huge Jane Foster guy. I almost said Jane Foster guy. Valkyrie was cool in this. Gor's daughter is really cool near the end of this. I liked seeing Eternity. That was awesome. But overall, I just think this movie could have done a lot more. I wish that they had shown Gore killing more of the gods. I think that would have been a cool thing to see. I think the movie should have had a darker tone because the character had a darker tone. It was kind of an off-putting thing for the tonal shifts between the Gore scenes and the Thor scenes. I did like that he could imbue the kids with the power of Thor because it makes sense when he power scales in the comics. He can do some stuff similar to that. But overall, I just feel like this movie could have done a lot more than it did. Next is WandaVision. I think WandaVision is an S tier TV show. I think WandaVision is amazing. It's a very good show. I loved the Vision moments. I liked the fake Quicksilver. That was really cool. Her controlling the entire town was cool. Agatha was amazing. That song was amazing. But I like seeing Monica Rambeau in this. Just an overall great TV show. I think it really sets up well for Multiverse of Madness. Next is Werewolf by Night. We are going to put Werewolf by Night into A tier. This was very good. It was great for like a Halloween thing. I know they released a colorized version of this. I'm not as interested. I liked that it was in black and white, but it was cool to see, obviously the werewolf. But I keep wanting to call him Swamp Thing, and I don't think he's Swamp Thing. I think that's a DC supervillain. But it was cool to see him in there. Next show is What If Season 1. I think Season 1 is A tier. Season 1 is S tier. Season 2 is A tier. I think season 1 was the better season. It had better episodes. I liked the zombie episode. I liked the whole Vision gets the Infinity Stones thing. I liked the evil Doctor Strange episode. I think season 2 was really good. I just don't think it was as good. I think 1 just set such a high standard that 2 just couldn't pull it off. I'm excited to see what future What If projects they do, but I do think season 1 is the better of the 2 seasons. Okay, so with What If, that does wrap up this tier list. If you disagree with any of my opinions, make sure to leave it in the comment section. If you agree with any of my opinions, leave it in the comment section. If I need to watch these 2 Groot shows, also leave it in the comment section. If I should watch Iron Man 3 or shouldn't watch Iron Man 3, comment. I have considered it a lot, but I've just heard so many bad things about the movie, and I haven't gotten around to watching it to form my own opinion. If you did like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel. I love making tier list. Even though nobody cares about my opinion, I just like putting it out there for people to see. Thank you for Tier Maker for this tier list. This tier list was made by, I don't know how to even pronounce that. We're going to just put her on here. Or him. I love doing this kind of stuff though. If you want to see videos like this as they're released, make sure you hit the notification bell after subscribing. That will notify you when videos are released. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and until next time, peace.